Okay, everybody, welcome to my official Reckoning Easter egg main quest guide. Let's go ahead and start out with the Loadout. I am recommending the Maelstrom shotgun with the Dragon's Breath rounds. For my loadout, I recommend Frenzied Guards, Stim Shots, Molotovs. If you'd like to bring some Gobblegums, these are the ones that I am bringing in my match. Some augment changes that I recommend that you make with Stamina Up, I recommend Free Faller to become immune to fall damage so you can navigate the map a little bit faster. On your Deadshot Daiquiri, use Dead Again, where the critical hits have a chance of adding a bullet to your magazine. And lastly, with Double Tap, I do recommend Double Standard, so all your non-critical shots do double damage as well. Build upgrades for the Frenzied Guard, I am running Frenzied Fire and Extension. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the Reckoning. Now, this guide is meant to be something that could just be followed by basically anybody. It is designed more for beginners rather than advanced players, but if you are an advanced player, maybe stick around because you might learn a trick or two along the way as well. So immediately, once we spawn into the map here, the very first thing we're going to do is come on over here. We're going to melee this mop bucket right underneath this sprinkler system right here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it under the sprinklers. Go out here. You'll get some explosions. That'll trigger that. This is going to fill with water. That is step one of the main quest. Is already done 4 seconds into the match. Congratulations. You are well on your way. Now, this is not going to be the most efficient way to do this Easter egg. I'm going to do it in a way that makes sense and hopefully something that is very easy for you to follow. Now, also right from the spawn room, we're going to interact with this trash can right here. Unfortunately, it didn't give us anything. We're going to come out here and we're going to interact with this trash can where we do get a piece of salvage. So go us. Now, I'm going to show you all of these trash can locations. This is one of the best side quests on this map, at least in my opinion. And then as we progress through everything, I do recommend that you keep the rounds as low as you're possibly able to keep them. You do need to get your perks, upgrade your weapons, and do all of the things, open all the doors and everything along the way. So you may be on different rounds at different points than I am, but do your best to keep your rounds as low as possible. Also, if you're using this Maelstrom with the Dragon's Breath rounds, I do not recommend upgrading this weapon right away. I'll tell you at what point I do upgrade it, because a weaker weapon is actually helpful for an upcoming step here that is going to happen here for the main quest. But we're going to go off to the right-hand side toward mutant research as soon as we have the money to do so. We got this nice convenient double points here that we're going to go ahead and grab. So opening the door to the right-hand side and headed up toward mutant research. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go off toward the left-hand side here. You're going to see this mangler inside of this tube. We're going to interact with this device right beside it that is going to grab us the syringe. You'll notice that pop up in the right-hand side. Continuing on from there, we're going to go ahead and open up our next door, and we're just going to follow these guides right now, and we're going to go ahead and head off over to the mutant assembly. This is going to bring us into the next step that we're going to work on, which is finding the Klaus legs. You need to have 2 arms and 2 legs. There's a spawn location right off to the right-hand side here by this locker, which happens to be in this game, so we'll go ahead and grab that. If you come down here underneath, there is a potential spawn location right here for a leg. It's not here in this game. Coming on over here to the right, there's a potential spawn location right here in front of this elevator, in front of the double tap. It's not here in this game. Continuing on in the same direction, coming on into this room is the other spawn areas. There's a potential spawn on top of this machine here. There's a potential spawn in this pile right here. And lastly, there's a potential spawn right here on top of this shelf. So once you've collected those 2 legs, you are good to go ahead and move on out of Android Assembly, as long as you have the essence to do so, because it's another 2250 to open that elevator shaft. Now, I do highly recommend that you play this map several times to familiarize yourself with how to get around, because I'm not going to be showing you the different pathways. I'm just going to be kind of telling you the room that I'm in. And if you have that all turned on your mini map, you can see that in the top left hand side, which room that I am in when I'm doing each of these steps. But I'm going to use my tactical diffusion here and get those free 2,000 points from that nuke. And that's going to help us to move on a little bit faster. So go ahead and open up the elevator to entity containment and head on upstairs. There's a whole lot of Easter egg stuff in this room, and we're going to spend a good amount of time in here, but we'll talk about that when we come to it. We're going to go ahead and take this teleporter over to the executive suites. Again, we're just following the prompts on the screen. Once you come in here, right off to the left-hand side here is going to be a trash can. Interact with it. We got some quick revive out of it. That is beautiful. There's another trash can right off here to the right by the jug machine. Just interact with it. Sometimes they'll give you something, sometimes they won't. Over here to the left, there's another trash can. We'll interact with that. There's nothing in that one. When we go up the stairs here, you're going to have a trash can off to the right by the ammo cache. Nothing in that one. Sometimes I'll just interact with it a couple times just to make sure that it worked. And then continuing around here, there is another trash can right on over on this side. Interact with that. Look at that. We got 500 essence out of that. And I actually have enough to open this door. So we're going to go ahead and put our explosive device on there. And we're going to work on the next part here. So once we go ahead and activate this, we are going to go ahead and find, there are going to be 3 pieces of intel that you need to find that are around these executive suites. And I'm going to show you all of the spawn locations, starting with the reception desk. There's a potential spawn location right there. It is not in this game, but that is a potential spawn. Again, there are going to be 3 of these. On this main desk in here, there's a potential spawn right here. There is not one in this game. When we come on into the room with the elemental pop, to the left-hand side is a TV, and we do have our first piece of intel here, which is number 5, the combat goggles with a date of 10/12. What I want to show you is this really cool website that I will link down below. So if we select the combat goggles, number 5, now basically each of these pieces of intel, these are all going to be the same. There's 6 different pieces. There's going to be 4 pieces in your particular match. Each of them are going to have a corresponding number and a corresponding date. Now you need to put these in order from the earliest date to the latest date, and then the numbers would be your code. But this cool website just lets you collect which one. So if we had these 4, let's say, then our code would be 1352, but we need to find the other pieces first, and then we'll know. Again, this will be linked down in the description. You can have this on your phone, or you can do this with pen and paper. You can do this however you want, but that website is super cool. I'm honestly not really sure who made it, but kudos to you and thank you. The community thanks you. There is a potential spawn on this white desk in this room as well. That is not in this particular game. Now, in this next room over here, there is going to be another trash can in this back corner, which is going to give us a piece of salvage. So very nice. And then coming on down these steps here and into this room is the final places where you'll find them. On this little desk here, you will find one, and we got number 4 wristwatch. So we can go ahead and put that in. So the wristwatch right there. Beautiful. And then over here on this desk is the final spawn location, which is number 6, the BND badge. Now, like I said, you are going to need 4 pieces of this, but the 4th one is always in a static location, and we'll come to that location yet. We actually don't even have that unlocked yet. But now that we have that code and we have all of those trash cans done, we can actually take advantage, once we finish opening Pack-a-Punch here, of that entire trash can Easter egg. So let's go ahead and head on in here. We're going to turn on power. We're going to shoot all of the crystals, and we're going to activate the Pack-a-Punch. And there we go. Now that step is done. The Pack-a-Punch machine is here. Now we do have another Easter egg step to do in here before we leave. So we come on over to this side here. We are looking for this zombie body. So you're going to jump in here. You can move left, you can move right, but you need to hit this zombie body. It's going to fall to the ground. And as long as you've picked up the syringe, you can now interact with it. And you can see in the top right there where we collected a blood sample. And we're going to need that for something else. So when you are inside of here, just quick little tips. Like I said, you can jump up in here. You can move left and right. You're going to become like a little orb. And you need to avoid all these Easter egg things, because if you hit one of these things, you will fall to the ground. So just keep that in mind. Move left and right to avoid those. They will despawn and respawn every so often. You can also wait for the zombie body to get into a much easier position for you. It's completely up to you. But once we've accomplished that, we are done with this room. We're actually going to head back down to the Janus reception area. And when we go right back into the spawn room, you're going to see that this trash can is now glowing yellow. We're going to interact with it. It's going to give us 1,500 points, some salvage, sometimes some score streaks. I've seen some people get Pack-a-Punch crystals out of this. I've even seen legendary ether tools pop out of these things, which is super cool. But unfortunately, we just got our points. We got a mangler cannon, whatever. I think we did perfectly fine. We got some quick revive out of it, so that is awesome. Now that we have power on, we're going to come over here by the dead shot machine. There's going to be this computer that has got to be all staticky here, and occasionally it's going to do a word here. We need the first letter of that, which is an S. So we have our first letter from that one. This is always going to be the first letter that you need. 100% of the time, always the first letter, the one by Deadshot. The second letter of the element, if there is one, is going to be on this computer right here. Now, if it happens to be a single letter element, then this one will never flash a word. And you can see this one is not flashing a word for us. But we also have our geneticist here, which let's go ahead and kill the geneticist because it's going to drop a key card. That geneticist is always going to spawn in this room right here. Once you get that geneticist, Yeah, it won't spawn until power's on, so keep that in mind. Once power's on and you're back in the mutant research area, that geneticist will spawn. That'll be a key card that'll open up this cabinet right here, and that'll be a blood sample. But we need to get the code for that door, which is located on this periodic table. And you can see S is for sulfur, which is right here. Now, if you had 2 letters, if there was another word over here, that means it's a 2 letter. So let's just say it was like SI. I don't even know if SI is an element, but you would see if you found SI on here, and then that would be your code. But this one doesn't have a word, so that means it's a single letter element, which is going to be sulfur, which is 16. Now, if you only have a 2-digit code, if there's only 2 numbers, some of these you can see have 3, there's 100, 102, 103, then you're going to add a 0 before that number. And then also, just to show you real quick, you can do so on this thing here as well. You can enter the first letter. We just had C, so I'm going to hit, or S rather, so I'm going to hit submit, and it's going to tell us our code is 016. Now, if you had a second letter, I don't know if SI is a thing, but SI is a thing. So if it was SI, then your code would be 014, but ours was not. Ours was simply just an S. You can hit submit in 016. So if you don't want to take the time looking at that table, it's on that awesome website. Again, link down below. If you know who made it, let me know down in the comments and give them a shout out, because that's really awesome. I love how the community makes these little cheat sheets and everything to make these things much easier for us. Now that brings us up to the next step, which is going to be to fill this cyst with some souls. We need to fill it with 3 vermin souls and 3 zombie souls. Now this is the reason I don't upgrade my weapon yet, because we need him to maybe turn into a vermin, which he does. Beautiful. And then we're going to injure said vermin. And once we injure him, he's going to get sucked up in there. And that is 1 down. So 1 down and 4 more to go, or 3 more, 2 more vermin, sorry, and then 3 zombies to go. But if you're using the dragon's breath, it makes this step so much easier. Molotovs are also very helpful during this step. But these guys, you just injure them, shoot them. Some of them are going to spawn into vermin, which is beautiful. And then, like I said, we're going to injure a vermin right near it, and it should get sucked up in there just like so. So that's 2 vermin done. We need to get 1 more vermin. We're going to avoid that insta-kill because we don't want to kill the zombies. We simply want to injure them. And it looks like I'm out of ammo. So let me go grab some ammo. We can get that vermin over here nice and close. Get him injured. There we go. So that is 3 vermin. Now we need to do 3 zombies. So we'll just get them close and let the dragon's breath kind of weakens them. But unfortunately, sometimes they'll just turn into vermin instead of getting sucked up. But the Molotovs, you can see, work really well. So that's 1 zombie, 2 more zombies to go. So you're just going to rinse and repeat this until you get all 3 zombies. There we go. That's 2. And there we go. That is the 3rd one. He is sucked up there, and we are good to go. So after a few seconds, that's going to go ahead and finish doing what it's doing. And that's going to give us access to a cyst that we're going to go ahead and pick up. Get away from these guys. Go ahead and grab that cyst. Now, if you take a look in your inventory, this is what the cyst looks like now. Just kind of a small green blob. We need to get that to evolve. And in order to get that to evolve, we just need to go down through this way. And you can follow this same path that I'm going here to make your life easier. When you follow through, you're going to come into this doorway. Your first plant is going to be right here. Now, you got to be careful because you can shoot your weapon here, which is perfectly fine. But these little plants will shoot things down. So definitely keep an eye on your health. You can walk away and you can come back if you need to, but you need to suck the etheric floral health from 3 of these plants. The next one is right inside of this next door here. Now you can't reload, so you got to get away from the cyst to reload and then come back to it with it. And you can keep doing this, coming back to it as many times as you need. Just again, keep an eye on your health because these things can do damage to you. And then the 3rd and final one, when we come through this other door, is going to be right here. Now you can either climb back and forth here and the zombies can't really get you, or you can just stay up on top here, do whatever you want. But once you suck the 3rd one out of this, that is it for this step. You are done with that step. Now it is round 6 and we have not had a special round yet, which means we're about to get one. When this one comes in, this is where we're going to get the Klaus arms from. We already picked up the legs. We need the Klaus arms from these special rounds. So you're going to want to aim for the arms to get them to knock off an arm. And as far as I'm aware, you cannot get 2 of these in 1 round. You will need 2 special rounds in order to get these. But we're going to aim for arms. There's an arm. So I did the right arm. So if I aim for the left arm of all of these guys, and see if another arm falls. I've never had this successfully happen. People on the internet say that it can happen. But people on the internet say that a lot of things can happen that don't ever happen. So I'm pretty sure it's not possible to get both arms in one round. I've never seen it happen. I've never had it happen. But as long as you just got to make sure that you pick up that arm, and then when we get across to the next one, we'll pick it up out of the next special round. Once we get all of the parts, this is where we're going to build that robot, which conveniently is located in the Android assembly area. Now, one thing that you do need to be very careful with the Maelstrom shotgun is during this next step, we are going to have to fight an Uberclaus, where we're going to need to shoot his shoulder pads off without actually killing him. So you don't want your gun to be that strong yet. So I'm still not going to upgrade the rarity of my weapon, but I am going to go ahead and pack a punch at one time. And that should get me to a decent place where I'm strong enough to shoot off the shoulder pads, but not too strong as to where I kill him too quickly. And I am going to want some jug before I start this next step in this next phase. So I'm going to go ahead and turn a round or two until I have enough to buy some jug. Now, this next step is best done while holding just a zombie or two. You definitely do not want to be overrun with zombies while we try to do what we're about to try to do with this Uberclaus, as it can get very overwhelming very quickly, and you definitely don't want to waste it down and waste your perks at this stage of the game. So I'm going to get it down to one zombie. Now we are going to initiate a power surge. Now you can't do this till after you finish that Cyst step that we just did, but we're going to initiate this power surge, and there's 4 of these computers around the map. So we're going to go ahead and do the first one right there. Come on over to this one, initiate that. Initiate this one here, and there's one final one over here. Now this is timed, but if you don't do it fast enough, it's fine. You can just simply repeat it. It's only like a short cooldown. I don't even think that you have to turn the round. Now this is going to spawn in an Uberclaus. Now what we're actually going to do is we're going to take this Uberclaus. We need him to shoot that energy mine attack at that robot down here. So take the elevator shaft down to the bottom, and you need him to shoot his electric energy mine attack into this room or into this general area to activate this machine. There we go. This should do it. It did not. He missed. He completely missed. Now we don't want him to die yet. We need him to stay alive. We need that energy mine. You'll know it's activated because it will. There we go. Hit it in here. Wow. His aim is atrociously bad. Any other time he's like just crushing me. There we go. That should do it. There. And you'll hear Klaus start talking. Once you hear him start talking, you are good. Move on out of that area. It doesn't matter that you have not put all of the robot parts or anything on. You now have that activated, and you can move on back up here to the top, where what we're going to want to do here is shoot off his shoulder pads. But again, we don't want to kill him. We just want to shoot off the 2 shoulder pads. So this is why you don't want your Maelstrom to be too powerful, because it can melt through him very quickly if you are too powerful. So I find, oh geez, I find it to be a good balance at being Pack-a-Punch 1 without an upgraded rarity tends to do it. As you can see, we almost have him dead. We need to then lure him over onto this pad right here. Now, while he's doing that, he's gonna mix in with the Forsaken here. He's gonna get taken over by the Forsaken. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my rarity to blue, because now we need to be strong. And right inside this window right here is an insta-kill, or you can use your insta-kill gobble gum if you have one. That's fine, but that's what we're going to do. And then boom, we'll take him out so quickly, so easily. That's the first phase of him done, and there's the second phase of him done just like that. So simple whenever you do it that way. Keep your gun a little weaker until that point, and then you're good to make it as strong as you want. But then you're going to have this purple glowing orb. We're going to interact with it, place in our Cyst, and that is going to give us our Gorgafex Wonder Weapon. Beautiful. And then next up, we're going to go ahead and get our Fowler Mutant Injection. I'm going to try to shoot this Mr. Peaks on the way down so that I can do that just a little bit later. But that's another little side quest, that little Mr. Peaks there, which we'll do that a little bit later. But it starts by having to shoot him right there. But we're going to go ahead and take our blood sample and place it back into this machine. And that's going to spawn in this special Fowler Mangler that once we take out is going to give us a special Fowler Mutant Injection that we're going to need in order to open a portal up here in just a little bit. But there's a little bit of animation and stuff that goes on here, some storyline stuff. He talks a lot. If you want to listen to it, fine. But we need to wait just a couple of moments here before he's actually killable. A blue pack-a-punch one with the Maelstrom and the Dragon's Breath. You should take this guy out pretty easily. Now there's also going to be a Disciple and some toxic zombies that are going to spawn in here as well. So you're going to want to take this guy out as quickly as you can and go ahead and pick up that mutant injection. And then I like to just go ahead and use my frenzied guard on him over here. This seems to make it nice and easy to get him out of here. As long as you don't run out of ammo, which we just did. Oh no. That's okay. That's okay. We'll go ahead and finish off the Disciple. There we go. Now, once we have that special Fowler mutant injection, we can go ahead and head on up here back to the Dark Entity Containment into this special room right here. So if we go ahead and inject ourselves with this mutant injection and then interact with this eye scanner right here, that is going to grant us access to this other room, which is actually where the portal is in order to get us to the final encounter and to do our final Easter egg steps in. So we're going to go ahead and enter into this portal. Now, once we do so, our final piece of intel, remember all that intel we collected all the way back at the beginning with these little things and dates. So our last one is the not so caller. So if we go ahead and pull up our website and do the not so caller, we're now going to get our code, which is 6145. So again, it's going to be this number and then the earliest date to the latest date. But again, use this website, use it on your phone, whatever. It's awesome to have. So 6145, and we're going to enter that into this computer right here, 6145, and that's going to give us access granted. And I like the idea of doing this SAM trial right now because maybe it'll give us some perks that we need, or it's going to give us lots of extra salvage and everything. So you know what, why not? We're only on round 9. We're actually just destroying through here. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. And a nice easy legendary reward and Casimir. I'll grab it for now, even though I am going to want stims before the main quest. And there's our Dancing Mr. Peaks, which is going to get us a free perk. But I want to get the base perks that I want in case I happen to go down in the boss fight first. So we'll do that in a little while. Once we have input that code into that computer and we come back into the Pack-a-Punch room with our Gorg effects out, you're going to see that this now says boost ready. So what we're going to do is we're going to interact with this red button right here. And this is going to spawn in 5 of these special blue vermin. Now, you don't have to kill these vermin. You just need to get 1,000 points. But zombies are only worth 10 points, while these guys are all worth 200. And there's 5 of them. There's 4 up in the air, and there's always one that is down low. If you kill these with your wonder weapon, that will get you everything you need. And contrary to what anybody else tells you out there, you do not need to kill any zombies whatsoever. You just need to kill those 5 vermin. When you come up here and you see that, you will then have 1,000 points on the board, and that is what you need. It's going to take a few seconds, but eventually you'll be able to interact with this blue orb, which is going to put a blue charge onto your Gorg effects. And there we go. So you see my Gorg effects is now glowing blue. Now it is very important that you do not shoot your Gorg effects weapon. You only get 1 charge of this. You'll have to come back and get another charge if you do shoot it, but it's easy to just keep it out. If you're doing this with only 1 zombie, 1 or 2 zombies left in the round, your life is going to be so much easier. But we're going to take this all the way back to the portal room there where the main quest is that we just opened, where we input the code into the computer. And then we're going to come on over here to where the portal is. We're going to charge the Gorg effects all the way up and shoot that portal, and that is going to open it. However, you cannot use this portal just yet. We still need to do a little something more with it, and that is going to be the fungal head. But there's also a couple other things that we need to do. We need to get the fungal head for one, and we also need to put the brain into this machine, and we need to get the Klaus to come over here and work on this computer. So with our Gorg effects in hand, we're going to come to the quantum computing core, and we're going to head to the melee macchiato machine, which is right here. We're going to face this wall, and right up in this window, we're going to shoot a charged Gorg effect shot up into there, and that is going to shoot down a fungal head. We're going to go ahead and pick up that fungal head. Now, you could also purchase melee macchiato right now and do the brain step if you like. It doesn't really matter the order in which you do this, but I don't want Melee Macchiato to be one of my 3 base perks if I were to go down. So I'm going to hold off and do that step at a little bit of a later time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and head on back toward the spawn area where we had this bucket. And I'm going to drop that fungal head into this bucket. Now, this now becomes a soul box that we need to fill up, which means I'm finally going to turn around. Now, once these zombies are glowing purple, you can shoot them and it will fill this up. Now, you can hold the fungal head if you want, but just know that a ghost is going to follow you while you're holding the fungal head. There are also many other mop bucket and sprinkler locations throughout the map. You do not have to do this in the spawn room. You can also carry this all the way up to the teleporter room for the main quest also if you like. You can do this a number of different ways. I just find this way to be the easiest. Again, I'm not going for speed here. I'm just going for simple. So there you go. So we get these guys in. Usually once they're in past the metal detectors here, they're kind of close enough. And we can go ahead, take them out. And it's kind of a large soul box, so just keep that in mind. You are going to have to kill quite a few zombies, but once they stop glowing purple, then we will be done with this step. And it usually takes a couple rounds worth of zombies to fill this. It's even more when you're playing in a squad. So keep in mind, if you're playing with a squad, you're going to have to fill this thing with a whole lot of souls. And there we go. Everybody has stopped glowing purple, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the fungal head. And I find the easiest way is to just take this teleporter to the Pack-a-Punch room and go across that way. It seems to be a little bit quicker, at least to me anyway, but you can go whichever way you want in order to get back up to the Dark Entity containment room so you can go through that portal. Now, once you are holding the fungal head, you are not going to be able to sprint, so keep that in mind. And you will occasionally see this ghostly figure that if he's right there, that if it hits you, it will damage you. So keep an eye on your health as well. We're going to go ahead and head on back into the teleportation lab. And we're going to take this fungal head and we're going to bring it up to our portal that we opened. We're going to interact with it and it's going to place the fungal head in there. And we are done with that step for now. We can actually leave this room at this point. We really only have one more major step to go, and that is to finish building the Klaus, because we're only on round 11. Now, if you happen to be a little bit further in your game than you are mine, hopefully you decided to watch this entire video before you decided to play the game and didn't miss a particular step along the way or whatever. But nonetheless, we just have to wait for the next special round. I can't really do anything else until the next special round. So I'm going to go ahead and just kill off all these guys. And it should be the next round. It should be on round 12 for us. And there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and aim for the arms again, just like we did before. And we are looking for these things to drop us our last arm, which is our last piece here that we need. There is our arm right there. Beautiful. So now once we have all of the pieces to our Klaus, we're going to go ahead and head on back to the Android assembly area. Now we already activated this earlier, so let's go ahead and put all of the parts on him just by interacting with him. And since we used that Uberclaus earlier, he's already active. He's going to come off the wall. He's going to start pecking on a computer. Now we will need to turn the round in order to continue. So we're going to go ahead and turn through this round. And I do recommend you wait until after this step before you upgrade your gun to epic rarity, because there's a good chance you end up with an epic ether tool just from doing this Easter egg step, because it does include a SAM trial, which is very easy to complete and get a legendary score on. I'm going to grab some double tap while I'm in this area, because that is one of the base 3 perks that I want. And then right at the start of the next round, our Frankenklaus will start moving. You got to hold his hand all the way over to this elevator. If you get too far away from him, he'll stop moving. But you guys are going to both take the elevator up here, and you're going to work your way down here to this left-hand side, down these stairs toward this SAM trial machine, where he is going to want to interact with this and do some hacking. So you're going to go ahead and activate it. I've always had this to where it is just get kills within this area down here. I've never had this be anything different than this. And I've done this quite a few times, but just make sure the zombies are off of the stairs and actually physically down in the area inside of the red here in order for them to count. But again, this will go really quick, really easy. You only need 40 kills down here, and that'll get you the main. And there we go. And an RCXD. We're actually going to take that right now because I got something really cool that we can do actually right now. So I'm going to go ahead, put in this RCXD. Oh, no, 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 no. We need to, I can't drive. I can't drive. I can't drive. I don't, no, no. Oh my gosh. I suck at driving this so bad. We got to drive it through this hole. There we go. Come on. All the way around to the back. There we go. There we go. And then detonate it on that blue crystal right there. That is actually a little side quest. You'll see that there is a Casimir device going on down there. Actually, did that not work? I don't know that it worked. It did not work. Well, that's unfortunate. I don't know why that didn't work, but it didn't work. But either way, our Frank and Klaus kind of went up into this room over here into our teleportation lab. We're going to leave him there for now. We still need to do one more thing, and that is take the brain and bring it to that room. But before I do that, before I buy the melee macchiato, I do want to get myself some PhD. All right, now that I got my 3 base perks that I want, my jug, my double tap, and my PhD, this is a great time to go ahead and do the free Mr. Peaks Easter egg in hopes that I can get some melee macchiato from it, because we do need that for the next step. So we'll interact with the Mr. Peaks that we shot a little earlier in the game. And we're going to jump down and we're going to take our parachute. And we're just going to go through all of these different loops. It's actually pretty simple. You're going to, if you go through the middle here, you'll get 100 essence every single time that you go through here, which is great. So really test your parachuting skills. Now, I do want to say, be careful where you land here at the bottom. Don't land on top of this little thing right there, because your free perk will spawn basically where you land. So don't land up here. I've had that happen to me before, and I had to go all the way back up top and drop back down again. We got stamina up. Very nice. So now we can fly around this map and just jump and fall without even having to worry about our parachutes. So that's pretty cool. But we are going to have to get the melee macchiato. We can just drop here with the stamina up augment. We don't even have to use our parachute. That is really cool. That's why I like to use it. But we're going to go ahead and purchase the melee macchiato. We're going to come over to this machine right here. We're going to melee it. We're going to grab the brain from it. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. Actually, maybe we can get there pretty quickly this way. I've never tried it this way. I lost the brain. All right, so apparently if you parachute, you lose the brain. So there you go. I learned something, and so did you. We'll probably have to flip the round, I would imagine, in order to get it back. Totally didn't mean to fall down that hole, so that is not something that you're going to want to do in your game. Actually, it's still here. We don't, oh, no, we do need to flip around. So we're going to go ahead and turn around. We got an Uberclaus. We got an Uberclaus. All right, so go ahead and grab the brain again after you have flipped around. And we're going to head on this way, and we'll make sure we do this properly this time. You do got to do this as quickly as you can, because this brain will decay, and then you'll have to do it again. And you don't want to have to do it again. Oh no, I had just come in this room. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. This is so unfortunate. I absolutely hate that about maps like this. Come on, come on, go in, go in, go in, go in, teleport. We might get there in time. Maybe. Come on. No, just missed. No. All right, we're gonna have to do it again next round. Oh, that was such an unfortunate cooldown. So you're learning a couple lessons here. What is a very simple, easy Easter egg step can be screwed up in a couple of different ways. Let's go ahead and grab our brain again. And hopefully our portal is not still on cooldown. I tried to kill a little bit of time here, and it is not, thank gosh. Now we can go ahead and place the brain inside the machine. And then once we do that, and all of those steps that we have done are complete, that is going to open up those Janus security boxes across the map. Now, these are located in many different places. If you just kind of pay attention as you're playing, it's these Janus securities. And after Frank and Klaus has a few seconds of time there, it goes ahead and they are unlocked. So we're going to go ahead and grab these vacuum seal device out of here. And I'm going to take note of where my Casimir is. And then around the map, you're going to find all these purple floating objects. I like to go over to the executive suites first, as there are a bunch of them in here generally. So we're going to look for these purple objects. Now, if you get too close to these things, they'll kind of stun you and they'll kind of start dancing around. You don't want that to happen. There's one right there. You want to hit it directly with your vacuum seal device. I just missed. We should be able to get our vacuum seal device back again, and then just make sure we hit it directly on it, and then it'll suck it up and we'll pick that up. There's another vacuum seal device right here. We'll grab that. We'll look for another purple object. There's one in that corner right there. Go ahead and aim it. Wow, my aim is really terrible. Now, these boxes will become active again after 60 seconds, but you can find a bunch of different ones around the map. I can't pick that device back up. Unfortunately, I lost that one. But we're going to need 4 of these in total. One of the Janus security boxes can be found in here in the mutant research test area. And usually there is an item or two around here as well that you can suck up into the containment device. There's one right there. If we can hit it this time, there we go. Beautiful. And then you'll notice they will go in your inventory, and we now have 2 of them. We need 4. There's another item there. We just need another vacuum device. But these items and these vacuum devices, they are located all throughout the map. There are many, many locations for them. They're easy to find, so just go around the map, run around. There's one down here in this room, I do believe. Yes, there's one right here. And there's usually an item or 2 down here in spawn. And there we go. There is our 3rd one. And then if we go ahead and take this and we head to the Pack-a-Punch area, not only can we go to Pack-a-Punch level 2 with our weapon, which would be helpful. Up top here by the Vulture's Aid machine is one. And we'll go ahead and grab that. And then when we head back into the executive office, we already know there's another item in here. And there's one right there in front of us, and beautiful. Take that, and then we should have 4 of those, in which we do. Now, if those items do start dancing around on you, if you get too close to them, they'll start dancing around and they'll run around the map. You can shoot them with your wonder weapon, with a charge shot of the wonder weapon, and it'll stop them. But honestly, there's so many of them around the map in so many different places. Just move on to the next one. Take your time. You'll eventually find them. It's not going to be a problem. You can also go ahead and upgrade our weapon to epic rarity. And then once you have all 4 of those devices, you're going to head on back to the teleportation lab. And this is the final step here. So take note in here, there is these different switches on the wall. There's one here. There's one here. There is, I thought there was one back here. Maybe there's not one back here. There is one here. There is one here and one here. So we're going to take those 4 devices. Now, when you're playing solo, you only have to switch 3 of these. So we're going to put them in there. And that's going to start a lockdown in here. I find it best to just not really kill any zombies here. But you're going to hear this buzzer going off, and you only have a limited time to interact with these switches here. Just go around and interact with them. There we go. And that should be 3 of them. I thought we only needed 3 to be done. There we go. And if you just interact with them, someone will just turn green. Whatever. I've seen some of the speedrunners do it. But you have a limited time once they turn red to turn them to green. But just keep running around, keeping an eye on them. But once you've done that, that is it. You are boss fight ready. You can start the final encounter whenever you are ready. I'm going to go ahead and get perked up. I'm going to get my weapon leveled up. And then we'll go ahead and we'll head on into the fight. And then once you have all of your perks and your weapon is leveled up and you feel like you are ready for the boss fight, perks that you want to bring with you, I do recommend a death machine, as that can be very beneficial in this fight as well. But once you are all set up and ready to go, we're just going to head back into the teleportation lab here, and we're just going to go ahead and interact with the final encounter, and that is going to get everything going. There's a couple little extra steps that we need to do along the way, and in case you forgot anything, there is also crafting tables, there is an arsenal, and a wonder fizz in this area as well. So just keep that in mind, that even if you forgot something, that you're going to be able to deal with it. But we need to interact with the Sentinel artifact first, and we are going to side to help with Richthofen, which means we are going to fight Sam in this boss fight, which is the easier of the 2 boss fights. The Richthofen fight can be extremely difficult, and I wouldn't recommend that as your very first boss fight. Now, this video is going up whether I am successful in this boss fight or not. I can show you the strategies and everything that I used to get through it, but I still have died once or twice, even though I have beaten this. It's not the easiest fight in the world, but I'm going to show you the ways to make it as easy as you could possibly make it, at least in my opinion. I'm sure there's many other strategies that are very good as well. But this first step here, we have 3 soul boxes that we need to fill up around this little outer perimeter of the lift here. So just come up to each one of them. They're going to be glowing purple, and you're just going to fill it up until this is full of souls. And there we go. There's the first one done. These are very simple, very easy to do. The next one's right here in the middle. Again, just make sure that they're close enough and they're glowing purple. And that's 2 done, 1 to go. Now Now the gobblegums now once you finish this, these are going to be glowing purple. You'll just get back on the lift and the lift will automatically start moving upwards for you. The gobblegums that I recommend here are a max ammo, a power keg, and an arsenal accelerator. That'll try to get you the most of your field upgrades. Again, we're going with the frenzied guard. And that is because you basically get a free fire from it as long as you have the ammo reserves, which is very, very helpful. Now this next one here, this one's pretty simple also. There's all these lights. Some of these are actually going to be crystals. You're going to want to make sure you just shoot and break all of the crystals and to where all of them are actually lights. This is usually there's not very many when you're playing solo. And then once you're ready, it's just back onto the platform and you're going to be up. You're going to be headed up top and it is going to be boss fight time. Now, one of the strats that the speedrunners do here is they pull out this death machine right from the rip here. And as the Sam is spawning in, they're ripping this death machine into her because she's going to be able to take some damage right from the rips. As soon as she starts coming in, just start ripping into her with the death machine until she goes immune. And look how much damage we were able to do to her right off the rip. Now she's got several different attacks here, one of which is a spin attack. This is the spin attack. Oh no, I wanted the death machine. I messed that up. That's my fault. I wanted to pull out the death machine and I accidentally swapped weapons, but that's okay. So you can damage her during the spin attacks, and you should also focus on some zombies. I did it again. So death machine during those spin attacks is good. And then she also has these where she fires things at you. We're going to do it again. And that's it for our death machine. Our death machine's gone. But look how much damage we've done to her right off the rip. And we can also shoot her with our gun, of course, at the same time. But you definitely want to keep moving. You can clear out the zombies. They come in waves. So you can shoot them down to where you only have 1 or 2 left. Now, right after she finishes this attack right here, she is going to be vulnerable. This is where I'm going to use my frenzied guard here. And I basically get free fire. And we're going to shoot into these spots right here. Go, 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 go. And she's got 4 of those spots. And then we can turn and finish off the zombies here. I fat fingered one of those vacuum seal devices. I should have bought some Casimirs before I come in. Unfortunately, I didn't, so I'm stuck with these vacuum seals, which actually physically do nothing. So anyway, first phase is done. There you go. We got a SAM trial, which is kill zombies while inside of the marked location. I'm also going to pop my arsenal accelerator as well. There's some max ammo out there if we need it. Now, one thing you don't want to do is you do not want to lose this SAM trial. If you do not beat this SAM trial, then you're gonna get nerfed like you were playing Grief. So just keep that in mind. You need to do your best to actually beat this SAM trial. Do not ignore it. You can get things like weapon nerfs, things like that. But if you do beat this successfully, you will get a free bonus perk. Unfortunately, we have all of the perks, so we don't really need it right now. But if you had lost your quick revive, I think she's coming out of this one. Yep. We can do some damage to her while she's coming in. And then there she is. She is immune. And during this phase, we'll take care of some of these zombies. She'll do these little shots at us. And as long as you're moving around, you can pretty much avoid these without any real issue. And spin attack incoming. We'll make sure we are getting off as many shots as we can get into her. There we go. Very nice. And then we do have another... I'm going to buy some ammo here. We got plenty of money. We have another frenzied guard available to us. So hopefully we'll get a laser attack out of her really soon. Speak and you shall receive. And what we're going to do is we're going to get in close to her here if you keep moving. And we're going to try to time it. We're going to get the frenzied guard going. And then we basically have free fire that we can shoot into these. We already killed the top ones before. We came so close to that. So close. You see, we are chunking away the damage from her. We are ripping and tearing, baby. The key to this boss fight is to have patience. You gotta have patience. It could be a very long fight depending on the weapons that you chose to bring in, depending on how well you're able to do the damage during the times in which you need to do the damage. There's a spin attack. We need to be doing damage here. There we go. We're doing good. Keep an eye on your health. Make sure you're not getting hit by these things. Just like that. But also, this is where you're supposed to have the stims. I kind of messed that up. As she's getting sucked up into there, you can do some damage. You can do some really heavy damage to her during that. But that's the second phase. We're going to get another SAM trial now. But again, you should have stims. I ended up coming in less prepared than I intended to come in. I forgot to grab a couple of things before I come in. So hopefully you don't forget to do that. I think it's this one she's gonna come out of, maybe. I know we gotta do the SAM trial. Oh no, we've already messed this one up. We've already spent way too much time outside of this one. But I think as long as you earn, I don't know if you have to get the legendary reward, but we're out of ammo. So we're probably going to get a weapon nerf or something along those lines. So we are at epic tier. Let's see what happens at epic. Is epic and weapon nerf. So we have a 30-second weapon nerf. So that's really unfortunate because we could do some heavy damage to her right now, except for our weapon nerf, which is basically doing absolutely nothing to her. And we're not going to be able to do anything to the zombies either. So we're just going to need to run around for 30 seconds. Oh no. Laser attack. Oh, it might end just in time. Frenzied guard. Oh, it is going to end just in time. And then she's going to have 4 of these areas. There we go. Finish that bottom one. And now we can do damage into her eye whenever we want. So let's just get that off. Get that off. Yes, let's go. We finished that. We've cleared off that eye. So we are down to she is very low on health now. Very low on health. We are almost done with this fight. This is my favorite part when she launches you up here. This is amazing. What a view you get from up here. This is great. I love it. We're going to go ahead and pop our power keg if I can get it to go. And there we go. We're going to grab that. And then and there we go. Get those criticals. Get the criticals. Get them all. 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 So close. So close. I keep fat fingering a couple of things here along the way, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. Gripping pretty heavy on my mouse. I would recommend a little less grip pressure on your mouse. You won't fat finger some things as much as I do. Now, a lot of people tell you to hide from these laser attacks, but honestly, you can run from them pretty easily, and this might be enough to finish her off. There we go. That is it. Sam is down. So I hope this guide has been helpful to you. I hope that it helps you to complete this main quest. That is my goal. If you enjoyed it, if it did help you, please smash that button. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Cole Whip, and I'm out.